Alright, let's see here. Should be streaming. Cool. Alright, let's head on over to make sure the stream is up. Alright, yeah, so this is episode 22, part 14. Man, so many. Alright, so, let's see, last night we finished the, we did some polish on the chat. We got player spawning working. I want to clean that up some more, now that, you know, I get to sleep and think about it a bit. So I'm going to clean it up a bit, and, let's see here. What else are we going to do? Clean it up, and yeah, we'll look into possibly doing synchronized movements. Look at how I want to handle the character movement. So in order to do that, right, we have to like make verifications on the server. So we gotta look at we'll figure out what we want to do next. But let's go ahead and polish up the player spawn here. Give me 1 second here. Alrighty. Alright, hold on, just closing down some Skype stuff. Alrighty, so I also noticed a bug, and I think it's when I'm logging in. So we have this client, right? When we start the client, we call connect, and basically what I think is happening. Somehow I'm accessing, although I don't know, honestly. I noticed that sometimes if I rush the login, there are 3 client game objects in the scene. There should never be 3, there should only be 1. So let me go ahead, see if I can get that to happen so we can fix that. Hey, what's up, Klein? Is it because you don't speak English, dude? Otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. Alright, so let's go ahead and start the server. Let's go ahead and run the client. Alright, we'll go ahead and log in here with admin. Alrighty, let's see. Alright, so as you can see here in the game, there's 1 player and there's 1 network client. Before there were like 3 network clients somehow. So let's see if I can get that to happen again. Let me go ahead and start up this client. Alright, and then there's some test scenarios I need to figure out too. I can log out if I hit the escape key. But what happens if I force close the connection? How do we handle that interaction on the client? Right, so on the server we need to detect that you disconnected, and we need to remove you from the clients. So we're going to do that as well. So let's go and log in here. Pied Piper. Alright, so we got 2 players here. And let's see. Alright, well. Alright, well, this seems to be working fine now. I honestly don't know how to replicate that issue. And you'll see here, check it out. I force closed this, and there's still 2 clients. And on the server, okay? On the server, if we look here, there's also 2 clients. So when I force disconnect, you can see here, client dropped connection. And what needs to happen is I need to grab that client connection and remove them from all clients. So we're going to work on that next. And as you can see here, client dropped. Yeah, so and I know who it was that dropped, so we can go ahead and destroy that on the server, as well as all the clients. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set that up in a minute here. I just want to see if I can replicate this issue. Let me go ahead and log back in. All right, admin. I wonder if it's from spamming the submit button. Let's see. And no, that didn't seem to do it. One, and we come over here. It says hey admin. All right, so maybe it was, I don't know. It was late last night that I saw it, but I'm sure there's still an issue with them, and when it arises, we'll tackle it then. So here's what I want to fix. When I just X out of this, because sometimes players have a computer crash or whatever, when they X out, I need to now remove them from all players, all right? So the way we do that is we have this on disconnected, and just like we do on server add to player, just like this, add player for connection, I believe we can do a network server dot remove player possibly. Let's see. We can say network server dot remove external connection. This removes an external connection added with add external connection. So not that. Network server dot destroy players for connection. This destroys all the player objects associated with the network connection on a server. So possibly that one, or we have destroys this object and corresponding objects on all clients, and you pass it an object. I don't believe it's going to be that one. It might actually be this one. This destroys all the player objects associated with a network connection. So let's go and do that one. So network server.destroy players for connection, and we're going to pass that network connection, which we can receive from the network message.con. Alright, so we'll go ahead and save that. And what this should do is it should say to the client, hey, destroy all the players that are no longer logged in. Alright, so let's go ahead and test this out. Let's go ahead and run the server. Okay, run the server. Let's go ahead and run a client. Alright, we're going to go ahead and say admin login. Alright, so we're logged in here just fine. Now let's go ahead and let's get our other client in here. Alrighty, get that in here. Go and log in here with Pied Piper. Alright, so we got two clients in here, as you can see. Now, let's make it so we can also see our two server objects there on the left. Alright, so what should happen now is if I X out of this small client here, I should delete from the server and the other client. So I'm going to do that. And it worked. Alright, good. So I forcefully disconnected, and as you can see on the server, there's only one player left. Client dropped connection, and we are updated on all clients. All right, perfect. That's working just fine. That's what I wanted to safety net. The next thing I want to do is I want to clean up how we actually do all of this. So currently, I'm using this player info script, right? This player, let me see here, player network transform, network identity. Okay, yeah. So currently, we're using this player info script, right? And basically, we're saying on application quit in this script. I want this script to strictly be just a data container about the user connecting. So I just want to have their name. I want to have their like IP address, and information related to that user account. Not really player stats or anything like that, but the user account. So maybe it should be called user info, but we'll keep it player info for now. So check this out. So I want to take this private void on application quit. I want to get this out of here. And I want to get rid of all this as well. Get escape stuff. We're going to add this into somewhere else. Because ideally, and I'm not crazy about having this game object player prefab in here either. So I'm wondering if maybe I should just store this in the network client. To not have it in there, but also I don't want it in there either. So I need to figure out where's the best place to store this, right? So let's see here. So public string player name, player prefab. Let's see. Here's the player. I think at a later time we'll end up moving the player prefab. Right? At a later time we'll move it somewhere else. And actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and put it on. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's put it on the client. I'm okay with that. So here we have public game object, player prefab. Right, and oh wait, right, we tried to do this and we actually couldn't. So I'm not going to do it in here. Hold on. Where do I want to do this? For now, alright. For now, we're going to keep it in the player prefab. I'm not going to deal with it. Alright, so one other thing I want to add to player info here is public string player name. Okay, we have our public player prefab. Let's go ahead and put this at the top. Alright, we'll make a variable for this. Public string player name. We're going to have public string, let's say their player name, we'll have public string IP address. Because, for instance, when we get into like creating a moderator and an admin in game, if I ever want to ban someone, like if I want to IP ban someone or anything like that, I can do so through knowing the IP address. And I can block all connections with that IP address. I'm also going to be checking the ranks on the forum. So when you log in, if you're banned on the forums, you're going to be banned in game. Alright, so that's how we can ban people. That way I don't have to actually do any server costs or anything like that. If you're banned on the forums, you're banned in game. If you're a moderator on the forums, you're a mod in game. Same thing goes for if you're an admin on the forums, you're an admin in game. So we're going to sync up the vBulletin user rights. Alright, so for this player info, basically I just want to know your name, your player name, and the IP address. I'm trying to think if there's anything else useful for me to know about the player connecting. 2 Ds and address. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. So public string IP address, and I think that's it. Let's just go ahead and assign these guys. Alright, so let's find where I do this player info stuff. Let's see here. So we do it from right here. So in our client, we do register prefab. And then on login request received from server, we process the user response. And then here, the instance player name equals the username. So the login request, I don't think I have its connection, do I? I think I might actually. Let's see here. Can I do client.instance.connection.ip address? I can. The IP address associated with the connection. Alright, good deal. So I can get it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set that. Alright, so we're going to take this and we will go over to here. We will go ahead and say playerinfo.instance.IP address is going to equal the client.instanceConnection.address. Alright, so let's go ahead and just test this out. Make sure it's all good. Start the server. And I'm sure there's more things I want to add to this, but at the current moment I can't really think of it. I will want to add like the messages, your forum post count and so forth on the forums because, you know, to create community engagement, I can sync the forums with the actual game. Alright, so let's see here. Network manager, server's running. Let's go ahead and get over to here. We'll log in with admin. Alright, so we logged in. If we look on our player here, and as you can see, the IP address for me is the local address. Alright, good deal. So we are set. Alright, now that actually, I don't know if that's actually good that it's local. I think it might be local just because it's local to the server right now, but ideally I would want it to actually be what my actual IP address is. So I may need to do an outside test on that. But we're going to go ahead and say that it's functioning how it should. because I am on a local machine right now, relative to the server. Alrighty, so we're good there. Let's continue cleaning this stuff up. Let's go back to our client. Everything looks good here. We have our player info scripts. Let's see. Actually, player data too. Alright, so I'm trying to think what would be next to do. The chat's good, the player spawning, everything is good there. I do need to create some sort of way to log out. And here, you know what? Maybe we'll go ahead and do that real quickly. Let's go ahead and inside the game view here, let's just create a button for us to log out, basically. Let me see here. Hey, how's it going, El Etchi? Alright, so I want to, let me see here. We have our chat system. Right, we have our chat system, chat control, chat mode, chat view. Maybe it's time I make a UI manager and we sort of build out a little UI for us to use. So let's go ahead and do that. Chat system. Here we'll have a general UI manager. UI manager. Alright, and we'll put this on the canvas, because that's what holds all the UI. Alright, and what first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use our mono singleton that we created, and we're going to go ahead and say UI manager inherits from mono singleton of type UI manager. We can delete this, we don't need it. And what we'll do next is we'll go ahead and say implement the methods for us. We'll do that. Hey, how's it going? Someone's on Twitch right now. The Twitch username is GameDevJohn. Under the, I think it's in the game development channel. Yeah, the channel, it's in the game development channel, but the username on Twitch is GameDevJohn. So it looks like we have 1 viewer in Twitch and 6 on YouTube right now. Alright, so here we go. I want to see if I can somehow give me, like, I want it to kind of implement the method for me, but it's not going to. That sucks. No? Alright, well, I need to get my public override init method. And I'm not really sure what it doesn't like here. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know why it's upset. Oh, protect. Does it need to be protected override? I think so. It does. Because I declared it as protected. There we go. Alright. Protective override void init, and then it should have automatically like started filling that out for me. Protected override. There we go. Alright, here we go. So here's our base init. We do want to call base, and then here I can do all my initializations for the UI manager. Alright. So let's go ahead and save this. Alright, and the first thing we do want to create inside the UI manager is a method to handle logging out, right? So here we're going to have public void sign out. Alright, and when this gets called, we're going to go and say attempting to sign out. And the only thing I want to do here is public void sign out. I want to actually, we need to do that client request thing that we were doing before. Oh, I should not have removed that. That was, what was it? That was client, that was scene client. Hold on. Using UnityEngine.ui, we need the networking in here as well. Using UnityEngine.networking. And I believe we need UnityEngine.networking.network system. Alright, so when we sign out, I want to call client scene dot remove player, I believe. And then, yeah, I short player controller ID, so we just say 0. And that should remove me from the client as well as everyone else. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to load, so we need scene management in here. I want to load the main menu. Main menu. Alright, so here we remove the player, we load scene, and eventually too when we sign out, right, is we also want to do all of our saving and all that good stuff once we actually get the like our game going and we have things to save. We'll do our saving here to have a proper save, because there's no guarantee that your data is going to be saved, right? If you just crash or force it, you might have some data loss, maybe a few seconds of data loss, which could be a big deal. Alright, so what we're going to do is here, let's go ahead and test this out. We'll save this. This is in the UI manager, and we call this sign out button, right? So in order for this to work, we need to now create that element. So here's our game chat panel. And what would you guys call this? Like, let me show you what old school RuneScape looked like, right? Old school RuneScape client. Like, what is this side panel called? Like over here on the side panel, you see how they have like these two swords. This is the combat. This is the combat tab, the skills tab, quest tab, inventory, equipment, prayer, and your magic book, right? What is like this whole thing called? Like, what would you actually call that? This is like your. Well, I make encryption for chat. What do you mean encryption for chat? Why would I need to encrypt the chat? I think I'm going to call this the interact panel, I guess. Interaction panel. Yeah, interaction panel. I think that makes sense. So let's go and create a new panel. Okay. And we're going to make it like that. So interact panel. Alright, so here we go. So we're going to call this interaction panel. Alright, so interaction panel, and to log out, you hit that little door icon in RuneScape, so we're going to have something similar to that. So interaction panel, I want to remove this image component. Maybe I did not want to remove that image component. Hold on. Let me actually, actually get this thing working first. It's so big. Alright, hold on. Let's go ahead and hit Alt, and I want to anchor this to the bottom right. Alright. Now, hold on. Alrighty, so that looks pretty good, I think. Let me see here. How do they have it? Jeez. It's like so much screen real estate. I feel like we don't have that much. Alright, 1 second here. So let's go ahead and let's make this a little tighter. And let's make our chat panel come out more. Alright, now I need to make sure our message input scaled with that. They did, good. And our message mask. Okay, good. Everything looks like it's scaled just fine. Okay, no it didn't. So the placeholder text and our actual text, this will now need to be up to here. And let me see here, what is that? This would be 400.5. 15,583. Point 2. Alright, height could stay the same. Oops. Save that. Alrighty, so I think this looks pretty good now. Let's see, what else am I missing here? Yeah, so it takes up like the full thing there. Oh, and actually, you know what? Hold on, I'm on standalone 1024 by 768. I should look what the actual thing would be. Hey, what's going on? What could go wrong, gaming? How's it going, dude? I don't know more about the network unity, but I know something about packet sniffing tools. Okay, yeah. So I already have encryption for username and password, passing in your logins to the server, like I do have like in a previous video. We already salted that so that it's encrypted. And then also we have the security of vBulletin for password hashing. So I'm not super concerned about security like that. Plus, when it comes to data packet sniffing, everything is going to be done on the server. So you can cheat locally, sure, but it's not going to update or have any effect on everyone else around you. Because we're going to make sure we design it properly. Why don't you just make that user can enable disable panel so more gameplay screen is free? You know what? That's a great idea. I thought about that, right? But I don't know. For some reason, like something about having it just locked in place, I kind of like. I do know a lot of games, right? You hit like the I key, you can pop up your inventory. You hit like C key, and you can hide and open up the chat. Maybe I'll do that. For now, though, just to keep it really simple, I am gonna have it like hard stuck on the screen, because I am basing this heavily off of like old school RuneScape, right? So I kind of like that's what I like, but I may change it later. Let's see. Alright, so we have our panel here. Our interaction panel. Let's go ahead and let's just add a button to this guy for now. So we're going to go ahead and create a button. This is going to be the sign out button. Alright, we're going to anchor it to the bottom. And we'll give it like some padding there. Alright, so right there. Alright, and let's go ahead and change the text to be sign out. Alrighty. Save this. Now we need to hook up that button, so we'll go to our on-click events. We'll add our canvas, which is our UI manager. And we'll go to our UI manager, and we will call our sign out method. Alright, let's go ahead and save this. Let's head back into our game. Whoops, our main menu. Alright, let's go ahead and run it. And let's get another build going. We'll go ahead and run the server. How's it going, Abu? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I played RuneScape from like 2002 to 2006. Old school RuneScape was like yeah, that was like my game. But I don't really play today. I can't get into the newer RuneScape, and then the old school RuneScape is just like not the same still, so I just never went back. I think is more easy and low size with a console shell. See Wolfenstein game, for example. What is a console shell? Oh, are you talking about like a headless server? Because I will be doing that. We'll be running the server in headless mode, so that it can basically just turns off all the graphics and everything like that, so that it does run a lot quicker. But for testing and debugging reasons, I keep it in visual mode. Alright, so let's go ahead and log in here. Okay, so we'll log in with admin. Alrighty, so we're here. You can see respond on the server, and if I hit sign out, there we go. We disappear from both. All right, so that works great. Let's go ahead and just make sure it does work again over here. Let's log back in under admin. Password. And one more thing I want to do is that I haven't done yet is I need to check for duplicate logins. So what, I just started getting on Old School RS. Yeah, Old School RS was my favorite. That's all I played. That's what got me into programming and game development. I created RuneScape private servers of Old School RuneScape. Alright, so let's see here. So let's go and log in with Pied Piper. Make sure this works on clients. Test 1, 2, 3. Alright, you'll see here I can sign out. And when I do that, I log out of both server and client. And it works. Alright, good deal. So here's what I want to do next, okay? I want to make it so that... okay, so here's another bug actually. Check this out. I turned the server off, yet I'm still logged in. And look at this. I have a message here that says dropped from server. So what do I need to do here? I need to clean up the game, right? So I need to say, I need to get me out of this. So I need to go ahead and switch scenes back to the main menu. And preferably try and, no, I'm sorry, I don't want to save anything. I can't. Everything, if the server drops like that, whatever the last actions were, that's it. You know, this is where you hear like rollbacks can occur. So when we get dropped from the server, we need to just say scene manager. Go ahead and add that namespace. So when we get dropped from the server, we're going to say scene manager dot load scene, and on disconnected from server could be for any number of reasons, right? It could be the server got shut off somehow, or it could be you also got banned, right? Or you got kicked. And we'll create all sorts of scenarios, like for instance, moderators. They can give warnings. They can kick someone but not ban them, but they can kick them out of the server as a warning. They can ban them for, say, we can create a system that says you're banned for 3 days. And it will use the forum account to do that. So the forums will keep track of the 3 days. But it will be requested on the server. So there's so much cool stuff that we can do once we get into like player interaction. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to load the scene main menu. Alright, let's go ahead and save this, test it out. Alright, so let's run the server. Let's go ahead and log in here. Alright, server's running. Let's go ahead and log in. Piper. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and shut the server off. Server's off. I head back to the client. You'll see here, dropped from server. We're back to the login page. Alright, so now we're good there. Now we can do the duplicate checking for already logged in. Alright, so how do you make custom functions in C#? I have if you go to my fundamental series or intermediate series on YouTube, you can learn how to make custom functions. I have an entire video dedicated to custom functions. So go check out that video. Alright, let's see here. So we need to prevent duplicate sign-ins. So, let me see here. So when preventing a duplicate sign-in, I need to know how I can detect that that you're already signed in. So let's go ahead and see what the internet says about this. Detecting duplicate login, Unity networking. Switching between several player objects, how to call a method when a game object is yada yada yada. Duplication of network game objects of Photon. Let's see here. Let's see, limit login. Okay, so here, maybe there's something in here. Set the maximum amount of connections allowed. Network.max connections would be -1, which I think setting to 0 means no new connections can be made, but the existing ones stay connected. Setting it to -1 means the maximum connections count is set to the same number of current open connections. In that case, if a player drops and the slot is still open for him, this cannot be set higher than the connection count given in network.initialize server. Okay, yeah, so we don't want a connection count, right? Maybe eventually, if we do worlds, we'll have it like set to 500 to like 2,000 people. I do want to see here network player. The network player is a data structure which you can locate another player over the network. With this, you can, for example, send a message directly to another player. Let's see, external IP returns the external IP address of a network interface. Ah, here, okay, we can just do it by IP address, right? So when we get a login request, the server can check to see if the IP address is already logged in. Because I believe the server has an active list of players. And let's see here. When we do a login request, let's see here, login successful. We grab the forum name. The username is your forum name. Network server, and then we send that information back to the client with the login request stuff. Let's see. So send to client, login successful. Okay, hold on here. So process login, before we even process the login, where do we call handle request? Alright, we call that from our network manager. Let's see, but what if someone logs in with the same user and pass, but from a different IP? Okay, right, you know what? Abu just made a great point. So this actually won't work. I can't do it through IP address. I actually need to check. I need to actually store the usernames connected. So I can do that because I have the login request here, username, all right? And if it ever gets into here, I know like you've logged in, right? So I need to probably create some way to keep track of every user, like a player list. And I think it does that for me. Let me see if I can access it here. So here we send the information back to the client so they can log in. But I think I can do network server, so .players. Huh. Let me see, this shows all the player objects associated, add players. Let me see here. Let's see here, network player. Hash table, because then you can use player ID as a key. Okay, so I could create a hash table. So if you're not familiar with what a hash table is sort of like a dictionary. The difference between the only problem with a hash key though is, or I'm sorry, a hashed table is that you can have duplicates in a hash table, whereas I believe a dictionary is no duplicates. So I don't know if I'd want to do that. A hash table, because then you can use player ID as a key. I'm trying to see if I have to do this. So like if I have to go the route of using a dictionary or a hash table to store. Okay, right, you know what? No, I could, because I could use the key as their connection, as their username, and their connection ID as the key. So let me see here. Alright, we may actually do that. We may use a dictionary for this, where the key is going to be their username, and then the value would be their connection, so that I can remove them using that key, right? But I think Unity already provides this for us, this dictionary of players. I just need to find it. So let me see here. Get all players. Unity 5 networking. List with every player on the server. Alright, when someone leaves the server, the player array still wants to access this player again. Is there a way to create the player list without the players array? Ooh, this is old. Ooh, 2013. Gross. Alright, 1 second. Network.connection. Oh, okay. So connection length, but it doesn't really help me figure out how to limit them. Extreme. Server checks user connections by pass and ID, like stream. Right. I'm just trying to see if I actually have to be responsible for maintaining this list. Let me see. Prevent duplicate login Unity 5 networking. How to use networking on multiple LAN networking. Prevent same user login to multiple computers simultaneously. How to give a client authority over an object? No. Huh. Hold on. Unity 5 networking. Let's browse the API for a minute. Let's see. Network server. Here we go. Alright, I want to see everything the network server can do. Network server.active checks the server. We have network servers, uses a network server simple for basic network function, adds more game-like functionality. Here, add player for the connections. Player spawners, configure connections. A list of all the current connections. That could be useful. Let me just look inside here. List of all the current connections for the client. The connections in the list are at the index of their connection ID. There may be nulls in this list for disconnected clients. Alright, that's a no-go. That's not good. We don't want that. No nulls. Network server disconnect all currently connected clients. No. Find local object, get stats out, handlers. The class can be used when creating network connections. Unity API validating receipts. What is that? Here, I'll look at that in a second. I just want to see if I see what I'm looking for here. And I do not. Tokens. Oh, wait. Find connection. This looks up the network connection object for the specified connection ID. I think your connection ID is different every time now. I don't think I want to do that. Let's see here. Unconnected error, on data, on disconnect. Alright, this function causes pending outgoing data on connections to be sent, but unlike update, it works when the server is not listening. Okay, that could be useful. Not for this, but for update ticks. Let's see, reconnect player for connection. Okay, no, I don't think there's actually a way to check. Alright, hold on. Unity in-app purchase validating receipts? Why would that be helpful? What do I do with that? Unity in-app purchase validating receipts. Is that going to be useful here? Alright, receipt validation helps you prevent users from accessing content they have not purchased. Alright, so let's see here. How do they do that? Local validation. If the content that the user has purchased already exists on the device, the application needs to make a decision about whether to unlock it. Cross-platform validation. Validate valid purchase. If valid purchase, unlock the appropriate content here. I don't think this is really going to be the best way for me to do this. This is the... I'm sure there's some way to manipulate this, right? But this is way out of the scope of what I want to do. Shoot, I'm trying to think. There's got to be an easy way to do this. Alright. Shoot. Alright, hold on. Let me see what happens when I spawn into the game, what the server has. So when I actually log in here, right? So let's see, when I log in here, admin, whoa, how did we get so many network clients? What happened? Weird. Alright, so let's see. Connected to server message is clear. Let's go and log in here. Alright, so when I am created on the server, here's what I have. Here's what I know about the connected player. I know their network transform, and I know their network identity. And I believe when they're created, I think I can get other information about them. So let's take a look at this. Where do I actually spawn them in? On server add player. So here, I should be able to grab more information about them. So like I should be able to say network server dot, maybe not actually, I think it's stored in this extra message reader. Oh, you know what? That's how I could do it. I can create a list of login requests because it has all this good stuff. And okay, I think we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna do a dictionary of login requests. Let me make sure we can't have any duplicates. We'll do a hash map versus a dictionary. In terms of Java, both class hash map and the class dictionary are implementations of the map. Hash table is simply an implementation of the dictionary. Also note that Java considers dictionary obsolete. The fact that hash table is synchronized doesn't buy you much. Let's look in C#. For collision detections, you can use on trigger enter, on collision enter, or any of like those variations. If you watch some of my older videos, I do collision detection. Alright, let's see. A dictionary has better performance than a hash table for value types because the elements of a hash table are of type object, and therefore boxing and unboxing typically occur if storing or retrieving the value type. Remember that hash table is thread safe. Alrighty, so dictionary preferred over hash table. I'm pretty sure it just means a dictionary is a hash table, yada yada. I'm pretty sure the dictionary just allows me to have unique values, which is what I want. Alright, so check this out. We will have, I'm going to log in over to here. So let's look at our server here. In our server, we have on, whoops, let's go back over to here. Okay, so on login request received from server, dang it. Here we go. All right, so in our network manager here, right, we have this. This on server add player gets called. That gets called when does that get called again? That gets called from a request from the client. So this here is on login request is received, no chat message, disconnected. User.process server response. Okay, here we go. That gets called when our login is successful and we add the player to the game, okay? We have added the player to the game. Now, what I want to make sure doesn't happen is we don't add the same player. So we're gonna have to do some other logic checking here. So let's see here on the server real quickly. I need to go now. All right, see you later, George. All right, so let's go ahead and look over here. On server add player gets called after the player has already been added. So that's let's see, or at least that's I'm sorry, that's not true. This actually gets called when the client requests to add one. Oh, so actually, you know what? This is where we can do it. This right here is what actually adds it on the client. So we can do all of our logic right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass in an extra message. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pass in an extra message reader. If this gets called, that means that our login was successful. So what I want to do is I want to resend back over that login request, I think. Let's see here. we go over to the client. All right, we say on login request received from server, we process the server response. We get the request code from the server. And actually, no, before we even do any of that. Okay, no, I'm sorry. We don't have to do any of this. Here, we should be able to do this all from the server. So inside the login request here, before we even handle the request, right? Because if we get to this point, we already have this data populated. Let's access a list of all of our players, right? So inside our network manager here, let's go and create a dictionary for this. Using dictionary, using system.collections.generic. And I'm trying to actually think too if the key value pair is what I need or if a list would do just fine. Probably a key value pair. Let me see. Inside the login request, oh, I do have their connection ID. Let me see, do I ever set that connection ID? On login request received, I do set the connection ID. So I think we could do that. Okay, so here, inside the network manager, let's go ahead and we have our player prefab, and let's go ahead and create a public dictionary How did I add that to? In the server, right? Weird. Alright, let's go and add that dictionary. So using Unity, system.collections.generic. Alrighty, and what we want to do is we want to go ahead and create a dictionary. So we're going to say public dictionary of type, what's our key value pair here? So our key is going to be our username. So it's going to be our login request. Alright, so public dictionary login request, and that login request is going to be associated with their, I'm sorry, not login request. Shoot. Let me see actually the best way to do this. Let's see, dictionary of players, C#. I don't know. I don't know what I want my key to actually be. How do I want to look them up, right? So I'm going to get a value returned to me. So when I use the key, I can get the value. So if I do the key, I want to check if this login request is already here, I guess, right? Key and value. Okay, I think that's okay. Let's try that. Alright, so in the server here, we'll go ahead and let's make it a login request for the key. And then for the value, it's going to be the connection. Should be their connection ID. And we'll call this connected players. Alright, so here we have a dictionary of connected players. And it holds, each player has their login request associated with them, as well as their connection ID. Alright, and let's see here, connected players. And let's see, inside here on login request received. Okay, right here. Alright, so here's what I can do. So inside of onServerAddPlayer, inside of onServerAddPlayer, I can check the dictionary. I can say if connected players dot keys, And I should be able to say login request keys. Now, I don't know how I would actually access that class. Let's see if connected players dot contains key. Let me see here. If connected players dot contains key, and then I don't shoot because I can't get their login request from here. I don't think. All right, so now I'm sorry guys. This is not the best way to do this. Instead, what I want to do is I do want to have a login request list. So a public list of type login request, and we'll call this connection players connected or connected players. And I need to now populate that list. So, and that will also contain their connection ID, which is why I'd rather do it this way. All right, so login request connected players. So when we handle the request here, before we even do that, before we even handle the login request received, we get their login request right here. So what I want to do is, before I even handle the request, I just want to check if it's already in the list. So here, we're going to go ahead and say, and actually, no, I'm sorry, I do need to do it inside of here because otherwise we want to tell them, right? We want to be able to tell the client you're already logged in. So here we're going to process their login. Before we do this, let's go ahead and make sure you've entered an invalid username and password, server offline. Okay, here, let's go ahead and we do want to process the login because we want to make sure that it is the correct username still. So if they do log in successful, before we do anything else, let's check right here. We're going to check to see if the network manager dot connected players. That is really annoying. Why can't I do that? Public list connected players. Come on. Why can't I access that? This is the network manager. Oh my gosh, my network manager isn't a Singleton. Why the heck not? Let me see here. Okay, weird. Alright, well let's turn this into a Singleton real quickly. And I should bring in my mono behavior over here. My mono Singleton, so I'm going to do that. So let's go ahead and just copy this class. We will copy, can I do that somehow? Show and Explorer. Just copy it. Alright, and let's head on over to the server, the assets, the scripts. Put it in there and we'll create a utilities folder. I'm gonna go ahead and shut everything. Hey, how's it going, Val? Awesome. Croatian. Sweet. Croatia. Very cool. Alright, here we go. So we have our mono Singleton here. I'm going to go ahead and create just a utilities folder. Put the mono Singleton in there. Alright, and we're going to turn our network manager into a mono Singleton. Reload, yeah. Alright, so now this is going to be a mono Singleton of type network manager. And instead of this start, actually, no, I still may use start. I'm sorry, I'm not going to use start actually at all. Instead of that, we are going to use our protected override init. And we're just going to call initialize server from here. There we go. Okay. So that's good. Initialize server. Alright, now I should be able to go ahead from my login request. I should be able to say if network manager dot instantiate, if network manager dot instance. Yep. dot connected players, right? Contains, right? So it's a list of login requests. I want us to check and see if it contains this dot login request. Oh, I'm sorry, this basically, which is a login request. All right, so if network manager.instance.connectedplayers contains this, then that means we're already signed in. So debug.log, already signed in, already signed in. Or we're gonna actually go and say your account is already logged in. All right. Otherwise, right? So, if network manager instance login, all right. So your account is already logged in. Else, let's go ahead and log you in. Take all of this, put it in here. All right, and we're good. So here, when login is successful, we're going to check to see if you're already logged in. If you are, your account is already logged in. We're just going to log that on the server for now. We will have to send it back over to the client, but we'll do that in a minute. Else, your forum name gets assigned and gets assigned to your username, and then network server, we send the client the login request, and we send this login request. All right, so, and before I actually do that, when I send to client, or immediately after sending it to the client, let's go ahead and, I'm trying to think if I should do it before I send it back to the client or after. I think after would be okay. What we need to do is we need to actually add it to the list. So we need to say network manager .instance .connected players .add, and we're going to add this, which is this login request. Hey, what's up, Abu? Alrighty, so let's go ahead and we'll save this. Let's go and test it out. Let's head on over to, alright, let's head on over to here. And here, I want to be able to kind of see, oh, I don't know if I could do that. I don't think I'm going to be able to see it in the inspector just because it's not serialized. And I think I'd have to make it serialized on both, which I'm not quite keen on. Alright, so let's go and test this out. Right now there's no connections here. The server's on. Ooh, hold on. Ooh, that's not good. Why is that not working? Oh, right, okay, because I'm not doing an awake here. Okay. The mono singleton is only good for initializing something like at the start. So I do need to actually, I do actually need to like wake this thing up. So we're gonna wake it up through, this won't be a mono singleton, another class may at a later time. We're gonna turn this into an actual, just a mono behavior and a normal proper singleton. Mono behavior, and then I need to come over to here. We need to say private static network manager. We'll call it underscore instance. And then here we have public static network manager instance. And we will get, we're going to return the underscore instance. Alright, and let's make sure it's not null. So if the underscore instance equals null, we're going to throw new exception. Otherwise, we're going to return the instance. And then here, we're going to convert this to awake. And we're going to go ahead and do all this good stuff. Alright. So let's go ahead and save it, run it. Oh, wait, broken. I did not assign it. So I need to go ahead and say here, underscore instance is equal to this. Now we're good. Okay, let's go ahead and rerun the server. What did I do wrong? typo on awake. Ah, thank you very much. Thank you. Mate. Alrighty, there we go. Let's go ahead and run this. There we go. Server's back on. Let's go ahead and log in over here. And we'll go ahead and get another client built. We're going to have to do that. Alright, so the server is on. Alright, we'll log in with Unity first. Let's go ahead and log in. Okay, so on server add player, and I don't believe I'm going to be able to see it. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to be able to see that list because it's I didn't serialize the class, and then I think if I serialize it, I have to do it on both the client and server, and I don't really want to do that. So looking at this, let's just go ahead and try logging in again with the admin, see if it works. Okay, so as you can see here, I am logged in as admin on both. So it did not work. And as you can see, let me see here. All right, and as you can see on the server, we got no logs. We have no logs indicating that we are already logged in. All right, login success happened. And obviously it let us in. So what happened here? Connected players.contains this, else we do connected players.add this. I'm assuming that there might be some fields that don't match. So let's go ahead and get a log here of what's happening when we actually process this. All right, let's just do some of this. Let's add debug.log. Let's see. Number of players logged in plus this is going to be the network manager dot connected players dot count. So here we have the number of players logged in, and then here let's go and actually get the information about let's get the name of one of them. So here let's go ahead and say when we log in, if the count is greater than 0, that means that someone's logged in, right? Let's get the name of that person. It's dot connected players. Let's get the name of the first guy. Alright, and get their username. And we'll add it all into a log. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's restart the server. You shouldn't have to restart the clients, they should have already been kicked. Okay, let's go ahead and log back in. Let's log in with the admin. Test 1, 2, 3. Alright, login was successful. And our log didn't even get called. So why not? Wait, what? Okay, yeah, number of players logged in never got called. Oh no, it did. Okay, good. Numbers of players logged in is 0 because before we added 1, right? So now when I log in again, it should say 1. So let's go ahead and log in here with admin. And you can see here, number of players logged in was 1. So it does recognize it, and it even printed out the name. So here's how we can do this now. I don't really like this because it's honestly a little slow. Because clearly the list is getting added properly, right? And we got the name of who is here. We're going to use link to check if the name already exists. So I could do a for loop and I could iterate through the list, check each name, but that's really slow and tedious. And I'll actually show you that process, and then I'll show you how I can do it with LINQ. It's much quicker, much more efficient. So here inside the login request, we're going to go ahead and do, I know that it's printing out properly the number of players, and this is working. So I'm not going to do this. Let's get rid of that. Alright, and what I'm going to do is down here is where we're going to check. So check for duplicate login. Check for duplicate login. Check for duplicate. Check for duplicate login. If network manager.instance.connectedplayers.contains. Wait 1 second. Alrighty. Let's see. Login successful. Okay, here we go. So check for duplicate login. What I want to do, right, is if I were to do this traditionally, I would say a for loop here. And basically, or a for each loop. Yeah, we can use a for each loop. We'll go ahead and say for user. So for each user in network manager, god dang it. Network manager.instance.connectedplayers. We're going to check to see if user.username equals the username we received, which would be username, this.username, then we have a duplicate account. So if user.username equals this.username, we want to go ahead and say debug.log, you are already logged in. Alright, and eventually we'd want to send something back to the clients telling them that. So here, I'm going to delete this. Whoops. Alrighty. Let me see here. Gotta go by. Alright, see you, man. Alright, so here we go. So you're already logged in. For each user in Network Manager Connected Players, if the username already is logged in, you're already logged in. And here we're going to say forum name, username, forum name, yada yada. And we're actually going to break as soon as you get to this message so that we no longer continue. We're going to say break, and that's the end of this. Alright, let's go and test this out. Let's run the server. And let's log in with our client here. We'll go ahead and log in with admin. Alright, so admin is logged in. Let's go ahead and log in with admin again. And as you can see, it worked. We did log in, but check it out, you're already logged in. So now what we need to do is we need to say, hey, back to the server or the client, you're already logged in, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. It's also, what time is it? It's 7 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and take a short break here. I'll be back later, and we'll go ahead and wrap up the all the polish we're doing with the player spawning, logging in, and all that good stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back very shortly. See you later.